It's fascinating how society often promotes a narrow focus. We are consistently advised to stick to one thing, to avoid the perceived risk of spreading ourselves too thin. But when you observe the individuals who truly reshape history, figures like Leonardo da Vinci, Benjamin Franklin, and Elon Musk, you realize they fundamentally disregarded this conventional wisdom. They didn't succeed by becoming hyper specialists. Instead, they mastered diverse fields, functioning as true polymaths, individuals capable of synthesizing insights that the rest of the world typically misses. Now, here is the crucial psychological discovery. You do not need an innate, pre existing genius to cultivate this level of intellectual versatility. What is required is a precise understanding of the cognitive architecture that allows a polymath's brain to operate. Today, we're dissecting that mechanism, the foundational psychology of cognitive integration. What truly distinguishes the polymath? Their brain's primary function is not mere accumulation of data, but rather the rigorous process of interconnection. Neuroscience confirms that our skill set is not compartmentalized into separate, isolated modules. It functions more as a highly dynamic, intricate web. Every novel concept you acquire serves to strengthen the synaptic pathways between previously stored knowledge. This is scientifically termed cross-domain learning, and it is the engine that drives polymathic cognition. They move beyond the simple query, "What is the meaning of this concept?" and instead ask, "How could this principle be applied or interpreted within an entirely different discipline?" Consider Leonardo da Vinci. He didn't study human anatomy merely to perfect his drawings. He leveraged that knowledge to conceptualize mechanical designs that mimicked the action of muscles and tendons. Steve Jobs' exposure to specialized calligraphy was not for the sake of penmanship. It was integrated years later to define the elegant typography of Apple's operating system. Elon Musk's mastery of theoretical physics, coding, and business strategy was not a collection of resume items, but the deliberate merger of knowledge that became the basis for innovative companies like SpaceX and Tesla. The core insight is that connection is paramount, not mere collection. Polymaths frequently employ analogical thinking, where they map patterns from disparate, seemingly unrelated domains to generate fundamentally original breakthroughs. Academic research from institutions like Harvard and MIT demonstrates that this strategic collision of ideas is the undisputed source of genuine creativity, the scientifically validated framework for developing a polymathic mind. Let's shift our focus to actionable methodology. This is the science-based, four-step systematic process for enhancing polymathic intelligence. Step 1. The Curiosity Compass for dopamine-driven learning. The process begins with curiosity, but it must be a structured form of curiosity. When you actively pursue an intellectual curiosity, your brain releases dopamine, the neurochemical associated with seeking and exploration. This biological mechanism compels you to engage with learning for longer durations at a deeper level and with significantly greater focus. However, the reward system is conditional. Dopamine levels remain elevated only when you successfully combine novelty with challenge. Therefore, you must strategically rotate your topics. Do not exclusively dedicate yourself to psychology. Integrate it with fields like design theory, musical composition, or macroeconomics. This inherent unpredictability within your learning curriculum is what maintains your cognitive system's vitality. A practical exercise. Every week, select an abstract concept from a field completely outside your primary expertise and deliberately seek to connect it back to your core skill. This is how you actively build new polymathic neural pathways. Step 2. Constructing a latticework of mental models. The esteemed investor Charlie Munger famously asserted, "The big ideas from multiple disciplines are the ones that really work." A polymath compiles a repository of mental models, not just isolated factual information. Each model, such as supply and demand, feedback loops, first principles, inversion, or entropy, acts as a powerful, distinct lens through which to analyze the world. The broader your collection of these models, the greater your brain's capacity to remix and fuse them into insights that approach a genius level. Pro tip: maintain a mental model journal. For every new piece of information you learn, ask yourself, how does this principle relate to psychology, to the laws of physics, or to general human behavior? This consistent practice literally trains your prefrontal cortex to excel at complex pattern detection. Step 3. Learning through the three-layer Polymath Pyramid. This proprietary three-layer structure is one that polymaths intuitively employ. Layer 1. Strategic breadth exploration. Purposefully expose yourself to the widest possible range of domains, from visual arts to software coding, from neuroscience to philosophy. The objective is simple exploration without immediate judgment. Layer 2. Intense depth immersion. Select a single topic and commit to mastering it intensely for a focused period, typically 60 to 90 days. Dive deep until you possess the competence to teach the subject to others. This level of engagement is crucial for forming robust, long-term memory. Layer 3. Integration and synthesis. Actively enforce cross-connections. Ask questions like, what elements of design theory utilize mathematics? Or, how does effective storytelling leverage principles of behavioral psychology? This forced integration is the cognitive moment when raw knowledge transforms into innovation. Step 4. Teaching, simplification, and applied knowledge. A remarkable finding. The act of teaching stimulates critical retrieval pathways within your hippocampus. This locks the learned material into long-term storage far more effectively. Therefore, do not merely consume knowledge. Actively disseminate it. Create short explanations, write structured summaries, or discuss concepts with colleagues. Every single clear explanation reinforces and forges stronger connections in your neural network. As Albert Einstein wisely stated, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. The daily practices that construct a highly versatile brain. Let's finalize this with practical daily habits. Modern neuroscience has identified specific routine behaviors that actively build polymathic intelligence. Micro-learning bursts. Engage in focused learning sessions lasting 25 to 30 minutes, repeated multiple times throughout the day. Your brain optimizes retention through spaced repetition far more effectively than through a single marathon study session. Cognitive cross-training. Just as athletes condition different muscle groups, you must train diverse thinking capabilities. Logical reasoning, quantitative analysis, emotional intelligence, artistic structure, and even creative randomness. The interdisciplinary question journal. Each day, write down one strategic question that attempts to connect two entirely unrelated fields. For example, what strategic lessons can cellular biology offer to market analysis? Mind wandering. Allocation. Neuroscientists, including Marcus Rachel, have shown that the peak of creative insight occurs when your mind is deliberately unfocused. Allowing your brain to daydream and process in the background is literally the mechanism for non-obvious idea connection. Scientifically optimized sleep. During REM sleep, your brain actively cross-links new memories with older, established knowledge. This is the biological phase where fundamental creative insights are consolidated. This explains why Da Vinci was famous for his strategy of power naps, an observation he understood centuries before it was scientifically validated. The polymathic disposition. Overcoming the central failure point. The single greatest impediment to becoming a polymath is not a deficit of intelligence, but the dominance of the ego. Most individuals are driven by a need to appear authoritative in one defined area. Polymaths, conversely, are comfortable with the transient state of feeling inadequate or dumb in 10 different areas simultaneously. They embrace beginner's energy. This is the central paradox of mastery. The deeper you delve into knowledge, the more profoundly you realize the vastness of what remains unknown. This deep intellectual humility is the inexhaustible fuel for endless growth. Therefore, resist the urge to self-label. Don't just say, I'm only an engineer, or I'm merely a writer. Instead, adopt the identity, I am a dedicated student of the universe. polymaths do not pursue professional titles. They pursue profound, interconnected truth. Envision a life where you can fluidly bridge discussions between complex art theory and cutting-edge astrophysics, where you possess the capacity to build, design, strategize, and educate, all powered by a single, continuously evolving mind. That is the polymathic existence. It is a life not limited by the specialization of a single skill, nor trapped by the constraint of one title, but consistently empowered by structural curiosity. You are not intellectually designed to fit into a single box. You are here to construct the entire intellectual shelf. So, stop asking the confining question, "What is my one thing?" Instead, begin asking, "How can I strategically synthesize and combine everything I find fascinating into a unique creation that has never been conceived before?" That is the precise moment the world stops simply calling you talented and starts recognizing you as legendary. If you found these insights into cognitive architecture valuable, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button. We want to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below, telling us which two unrelated fields you plan to cross-train in next.